Stand Up Republic is a politically independent, nonpartisan grassroots organization that endeavors to support and protect cardinal American values such as democracy, freedom, and equality by ridding the country of toxic partisanship, returning political power to the people, and collaborating with foreign leaders. It was initiated by Evan McMullin and Mandy Finn as a response to what they view as the divisive partisanship of our current political climate. The members of SUR believe that defending Central American values will act as a unifying force against the corrupt politics of both the right and the left. McMullin and Finn aim to critique their political context with SUR by promoting anti-partisan and fundamentally American values as a direct response to the divisive party politics and platforms that were seen in the 2016 presidential election and continue to be relevant in the current political climate. They are highly critical of President Trump. However, while they view the establishment as dishonest and delusional, it is important to note that they are equally critical of Democrats. SUR declares that its ultimate mission is to, quote, apply pressure to those who put party and personal interests before those of the country, while applauding those who have the courage to put country and principle first, end quote. In other words, SUR believes that national interests and fundamental values, which are anti-partisan and universal, ought to come ahead of party platforms or even personal ideals. McMullin himself strives to uphold this balance in regard to his own politics. David Hogland of The New Yorker states that McMullin tries to balance between Republican and Democratic agendas in his own writing after having found that, quote, when McMullin becomes more specific about policy, he sometimes loses people, end quote. In other words, although McMullin did promote several political views in his 2016 presidential campaign, including an opposition to abortion and a defense of Second Amendment gun rights, he would like SUR to transcend divisive beliefs and focus on constitutional rights and American exceptionalism. Stand Up Republic believes in protecting Americans' rights listed in the United States Constitution in order to protect the country's best interests rather than the interests of political parties. Stand Up Republic is an anti-partisan group representing constitutional, nationalistic ideals in modern American society. The phrase, quote, liberty, equality, truth. For freedom to endure, we must defend it, end quote, is displayed as the slogan for SUR on the homepage of their website. SUR's website continues by claiming that the way to achieve their goal of ensuring that each person is allowed the essential right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is by pressuring each citizen and political leader in our country to value the truth above all else, advocating for equality and freedom of speech for each person in our country, holding our leaders accountable and keeping power separate, and, finally, promoting civic engagement. Evan McMullin and his advocates also encourage democracy in the traditional sense of the word, and that the government belongs to the citizens of the United States, and its duty is to the people as a whole. The Oxford English Dictionary defines democracy as government by the people. McMullin argues that when studying our political climate, it becomes clear that America is no longer the exemplar for democracy that it once was. McMullin is declaring that Mr. Trump is acting in an autocratic, authoritarian manner, and therefore attempting to debase our democracy and rid of the separation of powers. Stand Up Republic endorses the idea of having a limited government and equality for citizens. As a group, SUR believes that in order to support the best interests of the American people, the power of political parties and leaders must be limited to prevent overwhelming sense of selfishness and ignorance towards the nation's need. McMullin and Finn believe that we ought not only to rely on constitutional checks and balances to keep leaders' power limited, but also to actively work to hold these leaders accountable. In an interview with Brian Stetler of CNN, McMullin discussed one way that President Trump undermines these values, saying that, quote, Donald Trump has a history of attacking the judicial branch and suggesting that he doesn't support or agree with its independence, and that's a problem. And that's something we all need to watch very carefully and oppose, end quote. In addition to limiting the government's power, SUR says that equality of citizens is a fundamental American value which must be upheld by citizens and the government alike. For this reason, despite his generally conservative views, McMullin supported the Women's March and opposed the executive order on immigration, calling it, quote, a Muslim ban, unquote. Stand Up Republic was created at a very significant moment in our country's history, and is a paramount organization to the future of our nation. If Evan McMullen is right that the Trump administration is attempting to diminish the United States' fundamental values of democracy, freedom, and equality, then we must resist these attempts in every way we are able. McMullen, through SUR, equips us with the tools to defend ourselves and our democracy from the threats they have identified, and uses the resources that SUR has attained through contributions to fight for those who are unable.